de-escalated in late 2019 when the US and China signed the Phase 1 agreement.
In the Phase 1 deal, China promised to buy at least $200 billion more in US goods and services. But that didn't happen. Now, Trump wants to change that and cut a new deal with the Chinese government.
Until I came along, China never paid 10 cents to this country. They ripped us off and they never paid anything.
Even before Trump's Inauguration Day memo calling for a fresh look at US-China trade relations, companies in China have been bracing themselves for a second trade war by chasing new markets and offshoring production to neighboring countries. The memo also singled out Canada and Mexico, using tariffs as leverage to achieve domestic policy goals.
We're thinking in terms of 25% on Mexico and Canada because they're allowing vast numbers of people to come in, and fentanyl.
Whatever the motivation, it's American companies that could suffer the most.
US auto industry has a very long supply chain that is very complicated, that takes many parts from many countries. A lot of this supply chain and auto parts came from Canada and Mexico. So imposing tariffs on Canada and Mexico basically effectively would be imposing tariffs on GM and Ford's production.
If he goes ahead with the kind of threats that he's talking about, then you would see question marks over how will that impact inflation, how will that impact where business puts their investment, how will it impact the flow of goods around the world.
Many US businesses are trying to wargame what's coming next.
During the first Trump presidency, when tariffs were enacted, it was the biggest strain our company has ever seen. 100% of our products are manufactured in China. It took us 24 to 36 months to adjust the supply chain. I would estimate the spend to be around $30 million. If new tariffs are enacted, the costs are going up. And if our cost of goods sold goes up, unfortunately, the cost for everybody goes up. This is not a tax on other countries. This is a tax on you.
And that's really only the first layer of the onion, as you can't have a trade war without retaliation, something that on the surface the US might have an upper hand in.
China has more to lose than the US because US imports about 450 billion of goods from China, but China only imports 150 billion of goods from US. So even if China wants to retaliate against the US tariffs, there's only 150 billion of US goods to retaliate.
But China's intrinsic role in global supply chains could offer fresh methods of retaliation.
China dominates the production of some important metals such as germanium, gallium, and these are metals that are very critical to